I've been a home theater enthusiast for well over 30 years, and generally my choice of viewing method would be in the form of a television. I started my journey with a 27-inch tube TV, then branched out to a 36 and a 42-inch respectively. My first foray into something more serious was a 46-inch LCD, then after so many years and upgrades, I'm currently using a 77-inch OLED from LG. In terms of projection systems, the prospect of going full into that space seemed quite frankly a bit daunting, but it is something I have been looking forward to. So thanks to Valerion, who graciously sent me their VisionMaster Pro 2 laser projector, and I was anxious to see just how much a projection system would change my home theater experience. For starters, the projector can be displayed on screens of up to 300 inches, with a 15,000 to 1 viewing contrast. Once you have your screen of choice displayed, setting up the Pro 2 is very user-friendly. The Pro 2 utilizes RGB triple laser technology, and let me tell you, the 3000 ISO lumens makes this picture very bright, even when I was using Dolby Vision dark mode in the settings. Plus, from what I have always understood, most other projectors have capped their color space at Rec 709, whereas the Pro 2 is in glorious BT 2020. Optical zoom is also a fantastic feature which will help more accurately fill in your particular screen of choice, in addition to keystone alignment, both automatic and manual for those that want to fine-tune their viewing screen. From my experience, I'm using a 110-inch drop-down screen, and the adjustments were intuitive and easy to dial in, no problem. For the ViewMaster Pro 2, not only does it support HDR, HDR10+, and Dolby Vision, but it also supports IMAX enhanced content. But that is not all. For those of us that still have 3D physical media collections, this projector supports that format 100%. So if you still have those 3D Blu-ray discs but no option to view it at home, this projector will be able to accommodate you and then some. On the rear of the Pro 2, we have 3 HDMI ports, 2 with HDMI 2.1 and 1 that supports eARC. There are 2 USB ports, a digital audio jack, Bluetooth, and it connects through Wi-Fi. The included remote is well made, and it does have a light up feature for those dark environments. The Pro 2's OS is Google-based and comes with all the apps that we're accustomed to. Firing up the projector, it defaults to the main screen, and from there you select one of the 3 HDMI ports. For the projector itself, you have the option to set it on the tabletop, as well as mount it on the ceiling. One of the more interesting features of this projector is the proprietary EBL, or Enhanced Black Levels. Historically, projectors have been known for less than optimal black levels, but watching a few horror films with EBL enabled, this largely mitigates past issues and offers a very deep and rich blacks, giving you appropriately dark night scenes, and if you're a horror movie fan, creepy dark interiors. When I put up the Pro 2's ability to reproduce black levels against my current setup, the LG G4 77-inch OLED, I have to say I was impressed with how good these looked in a very dark viewing environment. So I wouldn't call it a one-to-one comparison necessarily. Mostly the reason being that generally projectors can't fully replicate the deepest of blacks the way OLEDs can, but it is very close. Once again, the darker your room, the better results you will see. For films that take place during prominently nighttime or in space, for instance, EBL also enhances those aspects in a pleasing manner. For picture modes, there are your typical assortment, whether it is standard mode, gaming, sports, vivid, but I typically lean towards the filmmaker mode, as primarily a lot of my viewing has to do with film. For 4K content, dynamic tone mapping is also featured in the Pro 2, which allows a more refined visual experience with HDR and Dolby Vision. There is picture customization in the main settings menu, and of course there is the option to have it professionally calibrated. I personally found SDR content needed a slight bit of tweaking for my taste, but as far as HDR showings, it looked pretty good out of the box in filmmaker mode. I'm sure I'll do some additional tweaking in the weeks and months ahead, but most home theater enthusiasts would most likely do the same. I was eager to try out some very colorful blockbusters such as Godzilla vs. Kong, and I gotta say, I was not disappointed. Colors are enriched, and the Pro 2 handles whatever content you could throw at it with ease. From lush forests and sparkly oceans, the eye-catching neon of Hong Kong, or even if you choose something down to earth such as a simple drama, each scenario brings intense color reproduction. Speaking of color, animated films burst off the screen with the Pro 2. From the earliest animated films to today's latest offerings, colors look simply fantastic and will certainly impress. The beautiful animation of Disney's Encanto is awesome here on the Pro 2. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is awash with a wide variety of both art style and color. The Pro 2 showcases this one extremely well. For those that tend to favor old school cinema, and that definitely includes myself, Classic movies are well represented here. From black and white, Technicolor, and VistaVision, these films are shown in all their cinematic glory. The Pro 2 accurately reproduces cinema's various aspect ratios, from 4 to 3 to 16 to 9, so no matter what your chosen film presentation is, once you've adjusted your image in the initial setup, you are good to go. Speaking of aspect ratios, IMAX Enhance is another important feature, and the content is also here on the Pro 2. The in-theater IMAX experience comes home with the 1:9:1 and 1:43:1 experiences. Filmmakers like Christopher Nolan often utilize IMAX, and when they put their films out on physical media, those aspect ratios are supported and they look really good here. On Disney Plus, many of their MCU offerings also have an IMAX Enhanced version, which is available on their service. For me personally, one of the more exciting aspects of the Pro 2 is the ability to watch films once again in 3D. If you're like me and long for the ability to watch movies in the 3D format, this is a most welcome addition to the projector. I fired up films like Avatar, Pacific Rim, and Ready Player One, and I've got to say, it was breathtaking to see this again. Viewing this on a 100-inch screen, it looked downright phenomenal, and I'll certainly be bringing this feature into my viewing rotation very often. For physical media collectors, most current players do still support the ability to view in 3D, but of course TVs made today have long abandoned that feature. Thankfully, Valerion, through the Pro 2, gives 3D fans a way to enjoy their content once again. There were no hiccups when I fired up the player, it was just plug and play. You turn on the 3D glasses, which Valerion does sell for their projectors, and you're off to the races. For gamers, the Pro 2 also does an excellent job in the visuals department. The projector runs at 240Hz at 1080p, and at 4K 60Hz, and of course, in 4K, HDR is a feature. After playing several of my typical go-to games on the PS5, I was very pleased with the overall response time. Lag for me was a non-issue. To be fair though, I don't typically play fast-paced first-person shooters, where that may in fact come into play. But everything I threw at the Pro 2, it handled it very well. Animation and the colors looked extremely nice. One of the most beautiful games released in the last several years, Ghost of Tsushima, was simply gorgeous on the Pro 2. I haven't had a chance to use my Xbox Series X yet, but I fully expect the results to be the same. So at the end of the day, is it worth checking out the VisionMaster Pro 2 from Valerion? Absolutely. For somebody like me that's just getting into the projector game, or even for those that are even looking to upgrade their current projection system from one that doesn't have all the bells and whistles that the Pro 2 has, it's certainly worth a look. The unit itself is fairly compact and easily portable. The included case is also very handy. Installation is a breeze, and the design is also aesthetically pleasing. From the wide variety of 4K content, 3D, or even just to watch something on streaming or YouTube, the Pro 2 is extremely well-rounded for a projection system, and one that I am very happy to dive into my movie collection to see what it's capable of. All in all, the Pro 2 is a fantastic addition to any home theater, and if you're interested in picking one up, I will leave a direct link in the comments section below. So please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. So until next time, this is Adam with Movie Guy 365. I will see you at the movies.